Los Angeles and their debut album, Look What the Cat Dragged In, has just racked up its first 1 million sales.
That's great.
So say hello nicely, boys and girls, to Bret Michaels and CC DeVille of Poison.
Right.
How are you? What's going on?
Now, of course, I've just mentioned that your first album's come out. It's already doing tremendously well. But you're still a bit of a mystery in England and Europe, so why don't we begin at the beginning and tell me, where are you from? How did it happen?
Okay, well, my dad originally bought Capitol Records, and, and that's how it all happened. No, what happened was the band Poison was formed originally on the East Coast in New York and in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and we moved out to Los Angeles in March of 1984. And what happened was in 1984 and in 1985, we became the biggest drawing club band on the circuit there, which is like an original circuit for, you know, original material. So what we did is we kept that way. You didn't have to, you know, we got our style from dodging bottles on the East Coast,
Yeah,
and then,
exactly.
you know, we learned this, our charisma style.
But hang on a second here, Bret. CC, he makes it sound very easy. He says, oh, well, we became the biggest selling act on the
Well, wait, I was going to get to the hard part, right? I'm working on the hard part.
We still have scabs on our knees on that.
No, they, what happened was when we went out there, the fact is there's a lot of great bands out in Los Angeles, and you've got to work very hard to make it. But the reason we'd become the biggest act is what we do is we sort of have a formula. At night we would go out and promote, meaning handing flyers out, getting all the people to come to our show, and then during the day we would rehearse, and then on the weekends we'd play. And it just built up from there. And it's a hard thing to do, but you can't, I mean, unless you have about 4 hours, I can explain the whole story.
Well, we don't have 4 hours. What we do have is one of your new videos. So let's see what all the fuss is about. This is Poison and Cry Tough. Poison, Cry Tough, great video. Not the first time we see it on the show.
We haven't seen that in a long time either. I was excited to see it. I said, who are these guys?
That's a great band.
I like those guys. Who are they?
Boy, I run out and get the record now.
Tell me, what would you say was, who would you say were your influences musically on the band? Where have you come from musically?
Actually, when some of my influences, or my biggest influences, would probably have to be AC/DC, Aerosmith, and Kiss.
What about you, CC?
Van Halen, Motley Crue, earlier Cheap Trick, the Rolling Stones, you know. I mean,
and is that where you get your image consciousness from?
Oh yeah, we're definitely a product of what we watch. You know, we're definitely the sum total of what we watch. I mean, they're influences. So for us to not really to be like them is ridiculous. I mean, we will admit that, you know. But we do it Poison style. I think we take everything and we do it one step further. We're a very great, entertaining band, a very energetic band live. The video just captures the tip of the iceberg compared to what we really are live. We're very, it's on the, you know, it's almost abandonment. At any minute it can just, you know,
I think for Poison, too, I think the biggest thing is that Poison's trying to sell excitement, if anything. You know, when you go see a rock and roll show, the first concert I ever went to see was actually Sweet and Foghat. That was my first concert, and they put on one of the greatest shows, you know what I'm saying? And the place was just, it was filled with energy, and I think that, you know, the excitement and everything, and Poison's trying to bring that same thing out again. And it said, in fact, in the cover of the Circus magazine, which had just come out, it just said, Rock War's back, and it had leaders of the pack, Bon Jovi, Cinderella, and Poison, and it felt great to be a part of that whole bringing back the fun in rock and roll and making it, you know, where there's no barriers where you have to look like this or sound like this. You can just go out and do what you want to do, and the crowd takes off on it.
All right, good words, good words. Now, I'm going to interrupt you now, but only because I want to see some more of your movie.
Oh, what a... Boy, how do these guys come up with those songs? How do they do it?
Now, that was Poison and Talk Dirty to Me, which is a huge top 10 hit single in America right now. And also, I understand, being played to death on the radio, where we don't hear enough rock and roll anymore.
Exactly. It's weird because you turn on the radio, you know, and you turn on either it's AOR or Top 40, whatever, and you turn it on, and you hear Bon Jovi, and you hear Cinderella, and you hear Poison on the radio. It's such a great feeling to hear hard rock back on the radio, and it's given everyone a chance. It's sort of breaking down those walls, those barriers. You know, what I think is the most ridiculous thing about anything, especially with music, is people that try to segregate it. I think if you can turn around and like Metallica or Iron Maiden, which should be on the radio, and then you can turn around and like, you know, you could turn around and like pop stuff. It's you should like what you like. Do you think maybe Poison will open the doors a little bit for groups that aren't getting mass exposure?
I think that it's a testimony to people themselves when you can go and have an alternative to an easy listening type of music. I think because of our success, Bon Jovi, Cinderella's success as far as record sales, it's going to give someone who's open-minded in music a better shot because he's going to be able to hear something different than the mainstream music, something different than, let's say, the Culture Club and Madonna, which is great. But let's say someone
there's
wants
more,
to
there's
listen.
more
Someone
to-
wants to listen to heavier music. They have to dial into some abstract station. Now it's going to hopefully get more in mainstream, and I think the only people who
Yeah.
benefit is the people listening, and that's great.
It's opened, like you were saying, it's opened up a lot of doors, which is great. You know, it's opening up that thing between, like, it's just like when we were playing the States with Rat, you know, Metallica was out to see the show, Metal Church was
Yeah.
out to see the show.
Right.
We went to see Iron Maiden the day before we came here, and they're all great bands, and there's no reason
why.
All
There's
right,
no
well, look.
reason why.
All right, listen, we got this small speech we just want to give. 4-7 years.
When can we see Poison playing in Britain and Europe?
I would
Very
say
briefly.
probably
About
the end.
4 months,
About
maybe?
4 or 5 months.
4
5
months. You heard it on the Monsters of Rock show. We're going to hold on
Yes.
to that. 4 months, right?
Yes, yes. You got to
right.
see. It's an incredible, great show.
Let's have some more rock and roll now. This is Iron Maiden.